Hey, what does an asshole say?
Why don't you go on and pour me one of them black tooth grills? Get yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some love. I got some thunder brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt for big feets. Podcast recap 2025, brother. Sweet.
This here's Bigfeets, the only Mountain Monsters watch-along podcast. I'm Robert Brockway, and me and my co-host Sean Baby and Jason Pargin are taking a holiday break to play Secret Santa, which I mean in the Frank Duke Secret Man sense. We're gonna explode our elves with landmines and sexily brush down our reindeer with makeup brushes. In place of a new episode, please enjoy the Bigfeets year in review. Happy holidays, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Unless Santa got you those Navajo white socks you asked for. So the surprising part is, like, when we first started the show, I could absolutely understand that happening, because it was a totally episode of the week, and one of our complaints is, like, there is absolutely no continuity. Like, somebody will get wounded and be, like, totally fine the next episode, and it just doesn't carry over. But they are slowly starting to discover, as they invent storytelling independent of human society out in the woods here, they are slowly starting to discover continuity. So there is continuity at stake here, and they're still scrambling episodes. It's wonderful. It's like, what if every time you went to watch The Wire, you had to fight with somebody over what the correct order of episodes was? Like, no, that's from season 5. No, you want to watch that start of season 3. Like, that's really where you're going to get the most out of it. Just
imagine The Wire with 31 different Bigfeet.
If instead of every single character, it was a Bigfoot with a different set of superpowers. Yes.
Oh, that's a really good show.
That's a really good show.
We took a question from a viewer or a listener who asked, do you think they know the show was funny? And you said they think the parts where they're laughing are funny, but the other stuff they're trying to play is serious. They think it's serious. They think they're doing drama. I disagreed, because I was like, the comic timing on some of this stuff is too good. This shot where, like, Jeff walks out, at least the editor knows it's funny, because it is exactly frame for frame the way they would have done this in Anchorman. If, like, Ron Burgundy and the other anchors, like, we've got to put on our native, like, if they were clueless enough to not know they couldn't do that even in 2002 or whenever that movie came out, like, it's timed exactly. Like, the reveal of Jeff's costume and they haven't done the war paint yet.
Right.
They reveal this in stages.
Buck says, now it's time to put on our warrior faces and our battle uniforms, and then they hard cut to Jeff coming out looking like Pocahontas in a porn movie. Buck makes a joke about, well, I'm the only one not wearing overalls here. And then Huckleberry makes a joke about how they might rape Buck because of it.
Yeah, he does the deliverance. Like, be careful, you start hearing banjo music, Buck.
And then Mark laughs way too hard.
Way too hard.
Way too hard.
That would be crazy, right, fellas?
Right, that's a terrible idea. I'm not into that at all. Unless, are we just feeling things out? But, like,
I got a banjo.
Where did you go to raping Buck, Huckleberry? Like, that was
Jesus.
He's like everybody's wearing overalls. Like, yeah, watch out, you might get raped by us. Okay, we're not
smell
friends.
the other out here in rapey woods.
Run if anybody says that to you. So once again, they find a mysterious patch where no life grows. Like, this is new Bigfoot lore. They're like, oh, he must have been here. And Jeff says, oh, it must have pissed. So, like, I guess it scans, sheep squatch, that the piss is so caustic it destroys all life where it lands.
Yep.
And what Buck does is he says, get down there and smell it, Jeff.
Jeff, now you think he's being bullied, but Jeff does not need to hear that command a second time. He's like, yum, yum, pee-pee boy's time to shine.
They establish, in fact, that this is Jeff's new superpower bestowed on him by Trapper. He's the official piss boy. He's the magnificent piss boy.
He's the piss master.
Sniffer of piss.
That being said, he blows it real hard because he goes, man, this smells bad. But, like, this is his area of expertise because he can't do thermal. He can't do research anymore. He's definitely not good at psychic combat. But piss, this is something he should have been like, oh, this tastes like Bigfoot hasn't been here for 7 days. No, 8.
He didn't swing off to a side, off on like a weird trajectory. He didn't slide for a very long time and hit the tree. He slid, his hands lost purchase, and then he hit the ground and then the tree. But if he had maintained his grip, he still would have hit that tree. Like there was no
I'm just
success.
going to say it. I don't think people with foresight that bad should lead a Bigfoot hunting team.
It's an incredible display of incompetence. Like you're right. It's a Wild Bill trick. And he is just floundering to find like what he brings to the group now that Jeff stole Piss Boy. Maybe he was going to do Piss Boy, but no, that's taken. And he's got like all the physical comedy is taken. Like he's got to find his thing. I don't know what it is, but it's not this. And I don't mean to spoil anything, but it's not tough guy speeches. We'll see. We'll see.
We're going to get to it real soon. They then cut to an ad break because of the suspense of this moment. Cut back to, so your compost pile got pretty disturbed.
Right. It's like, we fought the alien from Aliens. We're not here to fucking check on compost piles. Like, let's take it from the top. Your fucking 11 of your gosh darn bulls got torn apart by the godless shack hands of this unspeakable monster. Compost pile. The fuck out of here with that.
So they really fucked up your compost, didn't they? They completely fucked up my fucking compost. They fucked up. Did you hear how bad they fucked up his compost?
I had to go kick it back into a pile again. It took 50 seconds for me to...
Some of the worms fell out. Like, they're traumatized. I'm going to have to get new worms, man. They're never going to work again.
I know, listeners, it seems like we're dwelling on the compost pile thing for a while. Not as long as they did. Buck says, Buck puts it together. He's like, you're right, because you've got the best trackers, the best outdoorsmen. You got the best people in the business sitting right here. And I wish the editors were mean enough to then just have a montage of them falling down over and over again, including that one episode. I remember which one it was, where they all went pinwheeling down that hill one after another, and Buck's pants flying off.
It's just a supercut of them saying, "Well, we didn't get him this time. We didn't get him this time. Well, we didn't get him this time. But he. Well, when you didn't get him this time, but he might have learned something about fear." Like just.
I would have probably cut to them saying, "Oh, this terrain's real rough." All the times they're walking across like a gentle field with nothing in it.
Guy's yard, Huckleberry's backyard.
Ended on Huckleberry going, this terrain don't be too bad, don't it?
Because again, Trapper, whether he was just drunk or in a wacky mood that day, he was like screaming, "He was right here eating apples. That son of a bitch has got me fired up now. I'll tell you what." And he's like, he's way up here. And the rest of the team is like, all right.
Yeah. He tries to get him there too. That's the one where he pulls Buck over and he goes, look right there. Apples.
Apple. He is a fun drunk.
You're fucking drunk as shit, Trevor. Stop it with the apples. Oh, God.
The trap here, it was a box with like a festive string of apples.
It was like
some Yahoo anal beads.
An amazing moment happens where Jeff says, "Well, you scared me, man." And the guy says, "Yeah, right." I know this is a fetish.
Yeah.
I know you did not. No one pees themselves this often out of fear. You are rock hard right now. This is a thing. This is a thing with you.
Well, I asked you before we did this scene, you're not going to piss yourself, are you? Because that's not in my contract. I don't want to touch it. If I touch it, I walk. Like I promise I won't hurt you. I won't touch you. If you turn around covered in piss, I'm leaving. And Jeff turns around and the way he says, "You scared me, man." He does not deliver that in a frightened tone. It's real smug. He's like, "Well, you scared me, man." The guy's like, fuck you, buddy.
I have this in my notes that this feels like a femdom that Buck is fucking up. Like he's there to to buy some dominatrix femdom stuff and like just not getting the vibe. They're like, "You sit in that chair." He's like, "Oh my God, that spooky skeleton mask is so scary." It's like, no. This is a sex thing. Come on.
I mean, it's good that you're complying, but like, get with it. So Buck says, "I know who you are. You're the guy who killed the Stonish giant." And the skeleton says, No.
No.
Just
Classic
no.
Mountain Monster improv.
Just no.
What's a
no.
stonish giant? Bye.
They're wrong, and he does not give them any help. No. So that Buck asks what he wants.
So he says, "What do you want with us?" Like that's the follow up.
Okay.
Oh, so you're not even close to the guys we thought you were. Shit.
All right. So can I come?
I witnessed a falling out of the power team in real time when they came to my middle school.
Oh, that's amazing.
One guy went into the crowd to find two girls so they could lift them with the power of Jesus Christ. And the other, when they got to the stage, the other guy sat the two girls down and then went back to the crowd to get two different girls. They lifted those two girls, and then it all kind of finished, and they sent the first two girls back, and there was sort of this wave of comprehension as we realized that the first guy picked girls that the other guy didn't think were hot enough, so he went out and got two hot girls and made the not hot girls sit down. And we all saw
by girls,
that.
you mean fully adult women, of course.
I mean, well, God, we were in middle school, so they were probably 12 or 13. 14 if they'd done something real stupid in one of those grades.
Huh.
So yeah, best case scenario, they were 14.
Hey, can you not tell this story again?
No, I think we should leave it in.
Because here's the thing. I think at this stage, they do have enough of a budget that they could ask for some effects. It's not going to be Jurassic
Sure.
Park, but if they wanted a shadow to move across the ground with no person attached to it, you could get an After Effects. You can hire somebody on Fiverr to do that for $100. There are very skilled teenagers that can do those. They could get a ghost inserted into these shots. They could do lots of things. They just choose not to.
You know what? We could do that. Jamie, put a ghost. Put a ghost in my camera feed right now. Oh, Jesus, a ghost. I just.
Oh no, ghost, Jamie. Oh,
we just beat you. We just beat you, Mountain Monsters.
Jeff is supposed to be gathering intel on what he eats, and I really liked the idea of Jeff like palling around with this new rogue team, being like, "So, like, guys, that black wolf that you've been taking pictures of? No, don't show me one. I will pee and faint and pee." But like, what do you think he eats? Like, what is this like main food source? Do you think? Like,
Nope, too scary. Pee.
thanks for letting me in your cool gang, by the way. My last gang was pussies, not like us tough fellas.
Do you like my hair? Do you like my hair, by the way?
It's pretty sweet. I've had it like this for a while. This beard ponytail.
I'm pretty much the coolest guy in my other gang.
I started doing the braid in my beard. They all started doing it too. Bunch of posers, but not me.
You guys ever go on Wikipedia? A lot of fun facts on Wikipedia. You know, this county we're in was founded in 1784.
So he gets in his truck and takes off. And Jeff points out, like, we're repeating my whole bit. Like, what you're doing right now is exactly everything I did. Only you yelled at me for doing that because you said it was a stupid thing to do. And Buck's like, yeah, but now I understand. Now I know why it is you're a little bitch. Like, I get that. And now I'm a little bitch, too.
To that point, I don't think Jeff is a little bitch anymore. I feel like he's feeding off of Buck's tears, and he's no longer, like, fainting. He's no longer bleeding out of his nose. He's no longer crying. It's like he's completely
amongst
reinvigorated.
buckets.
This is what he
Yeah.
feeds on. Pee-pee and the suffering of Buck.
All just fluids. He likes them fluids. So the guy, the leader of the Rogue Team 4, he wanted to know if Jeff had talked to the little girl, and then he showed Jeff how to do that ritual he did at 3 Rings, which was lighting a torch passing through a ring. And he said, if Jeff gets through the final ring, if Jeff is the chosen one, she would come. But that little girl, she didn't come. She didn't come for Jeff because he didn't talk to her first. She'll only come if you talk to her first. I'm literally quoting the episode here. I'm just quoting the
damn it.
episode here.
The episode's almost over, isn't it? And are we? This gives the final minutes of the episode.
This is. God damn
For a
it.
moment, I really thought that Jeff had gone from like the lowest crybaby employee of this place to the chosen one. I thought, good for Jeff to come back with the story of like, I'm actually the chosen one, guys. And even then, he's like, no, the little girl didn't come for me.
All right. All right, man.
I know how it sounds, but that's
I
how he
like
puts
that
it.
they're so innocent minded that none of this sounds bad to them when they say it. Like, it's actually good. It's good that they don't hear the phrasing, even though the announcer did and refused to announce the script they gave them.
They got a canvas maze, a simple Denny's placemat maze made out of canvas with a couple of snares in it. That'll
Couple of
catch a
snares.
sundowning old woman, for sure.
I realize we're like 22 minutes in and we've not started the episode yet. It's difficult to recap something when it is a completely improvised show where they did not remember from episode to episode what they did, so they just keep making new stuff.
But all of that, this is their very first season where they're telling one story from one episode to the end of the season. So this is it. This is where they got to wrap up. All of those storylines are going to weave together effortlessly into one final super climax.
Because they're going to go off the air for 26 months from June 2017 till late August 2019 after this episode. So it's all's got to be tied up. So it's
you don't
gonna
end
be
that
a
on some
mile a
bullshit.
minute.
Yeah, you don't end that on some bullshit and then come back 26 months later with like a huge reward, with like a huge bonus. So they must have fucking nailed the shit out of this episode. I don't know. We're watching it right now. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna let you know what happens. Hit like and subscribe. No, I don't know. I don't know where any of that stuff goes. So the Amazon wishlist is always updating as people buy things. It gets removed and then they add new stuff. So right now it's mostly like camera equipment and and then there's a couple of like gift cards to Wendy's that I find very funny. At one point, Jason saw this. At one point, there was an entry for like a large collection of miscellaneous hats. His theory that they have a bag of hats for the witnesses to wear their identifiable headgear has been confirmed, and somebody bought them that. So they got a
What did you say, Jason, that this was your Epstein list?
Yeah.
It's confirmed.
Just
it's
like
gone now.
Conspiracy confirmed.
It's such a pro to actually to legitimately come on TV and be like, I have to face my own mortality here. I'm not going to get better. I am going to die. So let's get out there and get that Bigfoot. It's incredible what he gave to this show.
Because I'm not going to do that. If I get like a terminal diagnosis, I am going to make so many videos just crying into the camera about how I don't want to die and begging people to send me money. I am not going to stay
Send me
in
kidneys.
character.
What are you doing?
I'm going to give everybody missions. I'm going to be just like Trapper.
If I come on a podcast and people are making jokes, I'm immediately going to be like, why are you making jokes? I am going to die.
And they're like, okay, we're going to breach tactically. And then I swear to God, this is such good comedy. They open the door like it might as well be in fast motion with wacky music the whole time. They breach the door and everybody frantically runs in and panics in a different direction. And there are jump cuts of this. There are jump cuts of them all pointing their guns at each other's heads, running around to look at the corner. Huckleberry looks at the ground. Somebody looks in the other corner. Huckleberry looks at the ceiling and says, "There's a hole in the ceiling." Cut away. We're done looking at the hole in the ceiling. Quick shot of Buck hoisting Willie to look up in the rafters. Like, all done, quick cuts, guns out, full panic. It's incredibly
And they're all
funny.
shouting, "Clear, clear, clear," like
Over and
they're
over
a
and over and
SWAT
over
team,
again.
as if they know what that means. I 100% believe that everybody else in this show wants Huckleberry to put a shirt
Yes.
on.
It's
obscene.
It's pretty vulgar. He's got one huge titty poking out the side of each suspender, and then it's a real. I didn't know this was a thing, but it's a low cut. It's a low cut overall that goes down below the hip line, and he's just got the filthiest briefs on under there. It looks like this is his slutty Marvel Rivals skin that you would have to buy for him. Huckleberry has a great moment here after they discover the bell, where it cuts to him for testimonial, and he says, like, keeping in mind that this is a very mystical reveal and like a very haunting discovery, he says, "I've seen a bell like that before. I had one on my bike. We'd ride up and down the road going ding, 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 ding."
They really set the tone.
It is just a bulging mass of muscle in our style that I have seen on the internet before. usually that creature has engorged genitalia, like human genitals, but it has like human muscles, like specific human pectoral muscles with a bare head. It is spectacular.
It is.
It is one of the greatest pieces of art I've ever seen. And Jamie looked up the name of the artist who draws these renderings for Mountain Monsters. These renderings that we have been admiring for 55
Hold on, does he do the new
episodes.
ones too, or just the old ones?
I don't know. I like to think they're similar enough. I like to think this guy just entered his Liefeld era and decided to change his art style. But the guy does his art under the name Cowboy Mustache.
The hell of a thing to try to Google.
boasts-
I'm sure there's like an audio reverse search that I don't know about. We could plug
You're
that
not going to
sound in.
believe this, but I searched for Lion Sound Wave just on Google. The first match I got only had one sound effect on it. Wasn't that one. The second match on Google had a big bunch of lion sounds. The very first one was the lion sound they're using. They added in a second background. I know you're not going to believe me. It sounds like bullshit, but it's absolutely true. This was the second match on Google and the very first lion sound.
I'm impressed that they went with the second one. Like that's work ethic for them.
I would ask Jamie to play them back to back, but the thing is, I know that none of our listeners doubt you at all.
For the last year, Sean Baby, instead of an intro, has been reading us insane excerpts from a book called The Secret Man by famous karate liar Frank Dukes. He actually lied about karate so good he got the movie Bloodsport made, so we forgive him for everything. But every time Sean reads anything from that book, we threaten to do a whole podcast on it. Let it never be said our threats are empty. Here they all are collected together for this, what is surely episode 0 of what will surely one day be the Dukes Cast.
Besides credit cards, my arsenal included unlikely weapons. One of my old buddies had dubbed me the Man of Steel, but not because I was any Superman. I just happened to carry a hell of a lot of steel with me. I kept a steel comb handy. In skilled hands, the comb could be more painful and debilitating than a knife, and raking could seriously injure an attacker. In more potentially lethal cases, a steel pen could do a lot of damage as well. And ever since Ed Parker had taught me how to use a shoe as a weapon, I had worn shoes with special steel heels that could stun even the strongest opponent when slipped onto my hands like gloves or grasped by the toe and wielded like a club.
And I am award-winning author Jason Pargin.
We have to start the Dukes Cast. We have to do the Dukes. He wears
Jason, have you ever taken your shoes off and wielded them as gloves?
He wears steel high heels, and he thinks that's cool.
I had my most dependable weapon, besides my body, out in a flash. A credit card folded in half, with the two corners bent back on one end to form a tip, rigid and evil enough to cut and gouge. I did, drawing a spurt of blood from my attacker's forehead just above his eyes. That was a warning. I didn't want to blind him unless I had to. If necessary, his eyes didn't stand a chance. Still, blinding my opponent was a step before going to the throat, which the credit card could easily rip wide open.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
Okay, I'm sorry. We gotta back up. On our other podcast, I'll turn it into a plug, which is what we do next. On our other podcast, the Dog Zone 9000, which me and Sean do about whatever we feel like. A little bit ago, we did a podcast on Heat. It was a Burt Reynolds movie based off of a William Goldman novel that should have been good and was maximum ridiculous. And the one moment from the best fight scene in all of human history is in Heat. And that's when Burt Reynolds is dressed in a full crazy pimp costume, and he's surrounded by goons, like big football playing goons on all sides, but they don't know he has a credit card. And so he turns and swipes, like charge cards their face and like cuts their face open with a credit card. And we laughed and laughed. And Merritt even asked, like, Sean, is that from any of the books you have? And you were like, no, that's way too stupid. And we laughed. It's not too stupid. Frank Dukes did it.
When she asked me that, I felt bad that I couldn't say yes. So I went through my books and I found someone who murdered someone with a credit card, and it happened to be Frank Dukes. And in 1975, I received the first perfect 10 karate score.
That's it. That's the end of the...
That's the whole Frank Dukes fact. I got it from his world records page. And in 1978, I became the first Kumite fighter to exceed 300 matches. To tell the truth, I was pissed. I was operating as a mere courier, and I didn't even know what the hell I was carrying. I had operated as a courier for Casey once before, and it hadn't been a pleasant experience. I had picked up a tail immediately in D.C. Instead of panicking, I took a commercial flight to Paris as instructed and made no attempt to shake my tail on my London stopover. I did, however, call a friend of Lajubo's, arranging for a cleaned weapon to be stashed in a public toilet in Paris. I retrieved the weapon and led my tail into a narrow alley. He narrowly averted a messy end. Under the coercion of my pistol cocked and its barrel thrust into his groin, my surprised victim stammered, "I'm your backup." After that encounter, it was understood I flew solo.
Oh, it was worth it.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin. For those of you who hear Sean give those quotes at his intro of Bigfeets, if you don't know what that is, Google the name Frank Dukes, spelled D-U-X, and you will need to set aside several days because there's a rabbit hole to go down there.
I don't know our demographics. That's one of many things that we get the freedom to not give a shit about. But if we did, I imagine that Bigfeets has a more Gen Z presence just because of the TikToks. I would love for us to be the first place somebody finds out about Frank Dukes. Like,
What a treat that would be.
To teach Gen Z or Gen Alpha of the Dukes history. To show them Bloodsport and then explain, like, we used to just not give a shit. Like, you could just tell us anything and we'd believe you.
Yep.
It was great.
There's no greater joy than showing someone Bloodsport for the first time. I think
And then
we've all
telling them.
experienced that. Yes.
This is a true story, that there's a guy out there who insists this is his autobiography.
If anything,
this
they
day-
toned it down.
Frank Dukes will go on a podcast today and defend things. Like, they're like, how did they check the miles per hour of your punch when you knocked a guy out? He'd be like, oh, the secret monks, they like looked at some photos of they tested the frames of the video. He'll just tell stories like that to this day.
So there's video? There's video, Dukes? Oh, well, there was a fire in my video archive. Yeah. Okay.
On a special film that erased themselves after you leave the secret city. That kind of thing. And in my previous wanderings through Paris, I had happened upon many strange sights, but perhaps the strangest occurred one month when dead cats seemed to appear everywhere. I learned later that the animals' bodies were filled with cocaine or heroin and then left at drop points. No one fooled with the carcasses except the drug buyers. Later, I adopted this ploy for my drops with the Soviets.
What?
Frank Dukes left drops in dead cats for the Soviet agents he was
Frank-
working with.
Frank Dukes learned
Me. I
to
did
murder
this.
cats from like the cartel.
From drug dealers.
From the cartel, and then went on a cat murdering spree for the...
Nothing messes with it. You leave a dead cat in the street, it is there for the rest of all the days. That's why there's so many dead cats in the streets.
Holy shit.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
Right. I honestly forgot you were here. I was just going to keep talking about that.
I hide my drugs in Jason.
What the hell? What is this podcast about? What are we talking about? I just blew everything out of my head.
These methods were cowardly. A warrior looked his opponents in the eye. Bombs were the worst. Although I was quite accomplished at manufacturing bombs using over-the-counter merchandise, I used these skills only to set up distractions or to take out barriers, not to kill. I admit I once debated whether to rig an exploding ashtray to annihilate an entire boatload of Muroami slavers.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
The more unhinged Dukes gets, the better that gets is the punchline. And yes, I have to tolerate whatever this nonsense is. So he's a expert bomb maker now, but
Yes,
only
but he doesn't use it.
only for
cowards
walls.
use bombs. Except he did hate these slavers this one time so much that he thought about rigging an ashtray to explode their boat. It's the most combustible of objects you can find on a boat. He didn't. What he did is he traded his magic sword for the children that they enslaved. This is a very famous Frank Duke story.
For anybody listening, I'm sorry for how we start this podcast every time, first of all.
They love it.
But also, that part's true about... I don't think we've gotten to that Duke's fact on the podcast. That part's true about how he says he traded a magic sword for the lives of Somali slave children or something.
It was either that or explode the ashtray. And, one is cowardly and the other one cost you one magic sword.
I feel like the Duke's cast is getting better than this podcast.
Let's keep it going then. I'll just keep reading.
We got one book. We're gonna make a whole podcast out of it.
And I wondered what the old man was up to when he instructed me to put on a padded jumpsuit. Barely had I gotten the suit on when he ordered his Akita to attack me. The powerful Japanese fighting dog took me by surprise, and I was knocked down and dragged several feet before I recovered, gaining a proper respect for the dog's speed and strength. Next, Tanaka-sama told me to take off the padded suit. He then strapped a raw steak around my waist. You have a 10-second head start, he informed me. I ran as I had never run before, finally taking refuge in a tree. I thought I was clever in throwing the dog the steak, only to discover later that I had fed the Akita my own dinner.
That's how it ends. So you were going to have to eat the steak tied to you anyway?
He was going to eat a dirty steak that survived a dog attack. That was his dinner. And over again, Chong Li pounded me. But when he extended his leg too far, instinct, not conscious decision, made me jump onto his knee to use it as a step so I could crush his nose with a right knee to the face. I hung in the air like Michael Jordan after one of his slam dunks as the big man struck the floor.
Incredible.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin. And before we get to the episode, but after we do all of our intro stuff and our plugs, I have some news to share. We can do our intro stuff first, but there's news about the show Mountain Monsters.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear a fucking word you said after Sean stopped talking. That was just blew language right out of my head. He used his knee as a stepping stone to get Michael Jordan air.
Yeah, he got so much air off the other guy's kick that he just hung in there. Probably legs spread, like on the shoe.
I don't know why. I guess I assumed, I mean, if he's saying it's all based on a true story, but it's very funny to me that there's a real Chong Li, that he thinks there's a real Chong Li.
There is.
Because where would that fucking monster, like, we would know about that monster in society.
You
we
would
know
think.
about that murderous kickboxing
He did
beast.
kill 2 people with thousands of witnesses.
This has been our Mini Dukes cast. Of course, the mandatory Mini Dukes cast that we're going to stitch together over 40 episodes of Bigfeets.
Great job, Jean-Claude. I was afraid you were going to go completely berserk, and for real. He turned to me. What do you think, Frank? I gave him the thumbs up. To tell the truth, the fight had exhausted me, even though I merely watched from the sidelines. I felt as if I had been through the match myself, without any faked blows or pulled punches. The memory of the real match had been pounded into every muscle, every bone, and every nerve in my body. My body remembered and had reacted to every blow. I remembered that I had broken out into an intense sweat. I headed for the studio bathroom to splash some water on my face, but a local extra squatted on the sink, evidently unaware of his mistake. Such sights were frequent around the set. One of the grips told me that the producers had picked up homeless men to fill the stands for the Kumite scene, and there were rumors that a mental institution was leasing its patients to the production. The true story of, you can really tell when you're watching Bloodsport and you look at the people in the crowd, you're like, oh, that's a mental patient, hobo, both.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
You have to give it proper time to settle before you can follow a homeless man crapping in the sink while during the finale of filming Bloodsport. While the real Bloodsport looks on in disapproval. This isn't what I bloodsported for. This isn't the country I bloodsported for.
Grandmaster Ninja, upon whom this true story film was based, is this not the toilet sink? Despite his pain, he managed to tie up my arms and crush me in his powerful grasp. I headbutted him until he momentarily released me, and I gave him everything I had in a palm heel strike to the solar plexus. He still stood, rooted like a tree. We both went into the air at once, and as he executed a flying, spinning heel kick, I simultaneously responded with a flying, spinning back kick that blocked his kick and dropped him. Before he could fully recover, I went to the air again with a barrage of jumping roundhouse and spinning heel combinations.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
So he kicked the kick?
He kicked the kick like 50 times.
I love that he writes exactly like you would assume Van Damme would write. Like you would assume Van Damme wrote that if you didn't know there was a Frank Dukes and somebody's like, this is by the guy that wrote Bloodsport. You're like, yeah, this is how Van Damme would write that.
That sounds right. That's how he goes shopping.
As a writer and as a journalist, I'm impressed with his memory for detail. Like those moment to moment, exactly recalling exactly what happened. It's incredible.
All
really
15 of his flying roundhouses.
Yeah, most fist fights, people don't have that perfect total recall. It's unusual.
Was that the fight with the monkey guy? Was that the fight with the really racist monkey guy?
No, that was the fight with Chong Li with Bolo Young.
See, that sounds like a finisher, but I thought the finisher was he formed a stepladder with his knee, and I took him to heaven with it.
I don't want you to cheat ahead 5 intros from now, but we'll get there.
I can't wait until he fights the really racist monkey guy and describes it in detail.
He nodded, his bloodshot eyes betraying his own fatigue. You're wearing a wig. He seemed more disgusted than surprised. That official disguise kit you sent me is shit, I complained. The hair dye runs and the lifts? Come on, I'm already 6 inches taller than most of the world. Well, at least invest in a good hairpiece next time. I've got my own hairpiece attached to my head. It's real. Then invest in a good haircut, the old man ordered.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
I have so many questions.
What's the name of the book you're reading those from for the people who cannot see the cover and don't know what you're doing for every...
This is called The Secret Man by Frank Dukes.
And that book's still in print, right? Like surely they can get a copy.
There's no way. He confesses to so many extrajudicial murders in this book that if it was real, he would be in jail.
That's one of those that are just like, they're $3,000 if you can find a copy on Amazon. There's some insane reseller that's like, I know what I have. Nobody wants this, but one guy, you're going to pay. You're going to fucking pay for it.
I probably did $300 worth of damage to that book just now, just from reading it.
He has like a mysterious karate hairpiece.
He's a spy, and so a lot of his spy stuff is like what he thinks spies do, which is where
I always forget he thinks
super
he's a
cool
spy.
Spy wigs.
Also. He's a karate spy.
He's a karate spy.
Internationally renowned karate champion / spy.
Right.
Gotcha.
And his boss supplies him with very bad wigs, and they have arguments about the wigs. I was on top of Fish, and although he threw himself into a frenzy of movement with everything he had, I wasn't budging. My legs scissor-locked in a stranglehold around his torso, pinning his arms to his sides and making the push dagger he'd drawn in our struggle useless, except to scratch futilely at the ground. He got only one chance to jerk his head to the side in an aborted protest before I had his neck in my hands. I could feel his pulse beating wildly beneath my thumbs. I couldn't right the wrongs of the world, even though I once idealistically believed I could do so as long as I was fit and trained and willing. But I could take care of Fish. I thought of the dead boys under the bridge. It was time to bring his career and my mission to a close. The next morning, even though I doubted he'd ever receive it, I sent Casey a message. Fish caught and cleaned. Ready to serve.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
That one started real erotic. You got scissoring, jerking, mounting.
The guy was named Fish?
Fish?
His name was Fish, and Frank Dukes murdered him with his bare hands on the streets of Russia.
Yeah.
If any DAs want to read The Secret Man by Frank Dukes, there's a lot of those in there.
I was going to say, like, if you can't say this is totally true, I killed all of these people, people will investigate that, and either, hopefully it's a lie, or you're under arrest.
Yeah.
Shit, I love that guy. All right. Well, as I said, for some reason, we're not just doing a podcast on that book, or we are, but it's really in small pieces, and you'll have to reassemble them in the correct order.
The prospect of being reunited with Voyo when I got home, if that is, I got home, put me in a good mood. He had always referred to me as his Jewish brother. And in fact, later on, Voyo and I did meet up again in Los Angeles when Voyo had landed himself a job as a bodyguard for Sylvester Stallone. Not only that, but Voyo had appeared on the big screen as well in Rambo 2. He played the Russian Spetsnaz Soviet Special Forces soldier Rambo fights in the helicopter. During the filming, Voyo shouted at Stallone to punch him for real. His intensity spooked Big and Little Tony, Stallone's other bodyguards, enough to make them draw their weapons on Voyo. Do not ask if you can punch Sylvester Stallone. His bodyguards will pull their guns on you.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
So they pulled their guns on him because he said, hit me, the stuntman, for real.
Yes. Yeah.
I want you to hit me. And they're like, I'm going to fucking kill this guy.
Yes. That's the story from notorious truth teller Frank Dukes. with his Russian brother, stunt brother. Amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait until we get to the magic parts of that book where he learns actual magic and studies how to disappear using only socks with the ancient Navajo.
How many books did he write?
Just the one, I think.
Just the one, but it's a fucking banger, apparently.
Yeah, it's
Can you
good.
imagine, as an author, a mic drop that hard, and then you just step out. You just step out. It's like, no, here you go.
This has to be after Bloodsport. I can't imagine the fucking audacity to not just do the mic drop and then disappear after Bloodsport. Like that's what separates me from Frank Dukes as a con artist. Is I would achieve Bloodsport and I would have been like, that's it, boys. Like fucking gotcha. I'm going to live on an island. I can't believe you made a movie out of that. Holy shit.
Yeah, we make fun, but it's like one of the greatest human achievements is Bloodsport.
It's getting the con through. It's making the movie whip ass and like stand up years later. It's launching Van Damme's career. I can't believe you got all that with the grift and then you stuck around and were like, I'm going to keep going. Like no, you got to get out. You got to get out you got to get out on the high point, man.
There's a saying among sports meatheads that banners fly forever. And what it means is if your team made a bunch of bad moves long term, but it resulted in a championship this year, then it does matter because banners fly forever. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you did that one great thing. No matter how badly we screw it up for the next 10 years, nobody's going to care. That's the Frank Dukes way. Like it's like, hey, I've done the ultimate thing that a human can do. Now I'm just going to screw around for a while. Because banners fly forever. Bloodsport, you can't take it away from me. It will always exist.
Fights forever, man.
1,000 years from now, people will still be watching Bloodsport long after you've forgotten about all of my weird interviews I did with ninja podcasts.
I hate that he's right. He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Somehow this still isn't a Frank Dukes podcast. We're getting there.
Little by little. Closer and closer every time.
It's getting there.
Where'd you get the gun? I demanded. Hurry up, I'm getting cold. I wasn't bluffing. Without my coat, I was freezing. After a couple of beats, I shouted in his face, close enough so that my spittle froze against his cheeks. Hey, asshole, use your brain. You don't hear me reading you your rights or calling for a cop, do you? I'm not the police. I can kill you, and I don't have to answer to anybody. Get it? Found it, he blubbered in an empty lot-off eighth. It's not worth nothing. I couldn't even sell the fucking thing. Never mind. I'll take it off your hands, I told him. This gun's too big for you anyway. I gave him a half-hearted kick in the groin. He went down, gave a spasm, then vomited into the street. I picked up my coat, dusted it off, and left my attackers lying on the sidewalk, whimpering inarticulately. They didn't seem to mind. How dirty it was down there.
Can you, before anything else happens, can you show me the back of that book? Fuck yes.
It's just him in his nunchuck room.
Yeah, it's Frank Dukes. Are those all nunchucks? They
No,
just...
it's like civilian spy gear you'd get at like a nerd store.
It's like Sharper Image. He's like in a Sharper Image.
Yeah, some of those are meat thermometers. And
wearing a full vinyl trench coat, taking his author photo at the Sharper Image. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
Somehow that made it funnier. Oh, god damn it. That picture is so good. That needs to be his prom picture. I just Photoshop in a date next to him, looking very weary. Like, did you really take me to the sharper image to get this done? And being like, yeah, it rules.
I just like the proudness he has. Just like he's bringing the tour through his house. Like, welcome to my telescope and double-headed dildo room.
There's a telescope. There's just a telescope in there. I use that to see long distances. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. That's what everybody uses it for.
His companion attacked. I popped a blow to his left side at the base of his rib cage, enough to jar his spleen, but not rupture it. Killing them would only draw attention, and my job was to remain in the shadows. Besides, I needed information. In fights such as this one, the greatest difficulty lay in controlling anger. However, much of my training had involved developing and honing physical, mental, and emotional discipline. Get carried away, and I could easily become lethal. These guys weren't good enough for me to have to kill them in order to remain safe. Don't get me wrong. Any opponent can be dangerous, and it's essential to never underestimate their potential. That sort of underestimation can take you to the Undertaker.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin. Tell the people again who did not see the title of the book that you keep reading from, so they can go find this magical book for themselves. That is called The Secret Man by Frank Dukes. And Dukes is not spelled how you think. It's D-U-X, which just now occurred to me that is not a real surname that a person would have.
I love that he has to specify, I know the exact punch frequency to jiggle a spleen, but preserve its sanctity.
Yeah, not rupture it.
Just like he can dial in his punches to within a 0.5 psi and knows the inherent integrity of any human spleen. They don't vary between people. There's not a guy out there with some sort of spleen disease.
Is every page of that book amazing, or do you have to hunt for the great parts? Because it seems like every sentence is a masterpiece.
There's a lot of spycraft, which means he'll have a lot of meetings and talk about I guess I did read one about the wigs that he wears and things. So yeah, maybe every page is amazing. Yeah.
We're going to do a podcast about that book.
It's like $800 on Amazon. We're going to have to...
I know the joke is we talk about this way too much every time you do that, and then we don't even get into what podcast this is, so that, for example, right now, if somebody's listening to this for the first time, they're like, what is this fucking about? Is this about that karate book? Because hell yes, I'm on board for this podcast, and we're about to pull the rug on them and be like, sorry about that awesome thing we just did. We're not doing that at all. That's not what this is about. We gotta just make time to talk about that book. That's what we're gonna pivot to when we get to the end of Mountain Monsters. We're just gonna do that book.
Chester stopped a few yards from the hut. He seemed scared. Hey, come on over, Chester, I called. Still, he hesitated. Then I realized that Chester wasn't smiling. What's wrong, buddy? I asked. He looked at me as if paralyzed by indecision and then twisted around and looked over his shoulder. He turned and looked a few hesitant steps towards me, moving close enough that I now could see the dried tears on his face, the fear in his eyes, and the broken left arm that dangled at his side. He must have seen my reaction, for he stopped again and took a couple of faltering hops backward. Suddenly, two figures shot out of the jungle shadows into the tiny clearing. What the? I heard Helms shout behind me, and then the sound of the bottle hitting the ground. I caught a sudden whiff of his breath-warmed scotch as a blow struck me from behind, pushing me to the side and knocking me to the ground. Helms drew his gun and fired twice at the same moment that the two figures reached Chester, shoving him toward the hut. I watched helplessly as Helms's shots halted Chester's progress and flung his tiny body backward into the air. What the hell? I screamed at Helms.
And I am award-winning author and essayist Jason Pargin.
Okay, at first, I thought it was a Chester trap. I thought it was like a Looney Tunes, oh, that's not going to be Chester. That's a bomb dressed up as Chester or something. No. But then he started hopping, and is Chester a dog? Was Chester a guy?
Chester is a lovable
war cripple who Frank Dukes gives gum, and he gleefully accepts the gums. Those are his words, not mine. And then his buddy shot him.
Hopping the whole while. Wow. I forgot completely what we're doing. What is this? Where am I right now?
The Frank Dukes Bubblegum Hour.
My only pleasure came in the form of an act of charity, handing a stick of gum to a crippled survivor who plunged the gum into his mouth with unrestrained joy. The boy had lost his right leg below the knee due to a landmine probably planted years in the past during the height of the Vietnam War. It lay dormant until an innocent child happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The kid hung out with us for days. He had emerged from the jungle smiling through missing and broken teeth. His round, shaven head swung back and forth as he limped forward to accept gleefully my remaining sticks of gum, which I couldn't bring myself to chew anyway. I nicknamed him Chester after Marshall Dillon's limping sidekick in Gunsmoke. Listen to last episode to find out what happened to Chester.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
Okay, so Chester is a Pez dispenser? He's got one leg. He hops out there and just gobbles gum with gentle abandon.
God, he loves gum.
And
I skipped a paragraph. Frank Dukes in the paragraph previously had come across a village that had been like scorched with artillery. And he said the children there looked like burnt gingerbread men. I'm telling you now, I earlier I made the decision not to tell you about it because I thought it was so grim. But luckily he came back from that to find love again with Chester, the one-legged boy who loved gum.
To befriend a human Pez dispenser
Right.
who would soon die. I just
Get
realized
blasted by his best friend.
I just realized why he hopped backwards in that first passage you read.
Yeah, which makes your jokes about that seem incredibly insensitive.
Yeah.
I'm the monster.
Yeah, that's a real boy.
Yeah.
Frank Dukes
That
wouldn't lie
really
about a one-legged
happened.
boy his friend murdered.
That kid could still be out there listening.
God, it derails my brain every single time. I just want to talk for about an hour about the thing you just said.
I first saw Yvonne standing across the room at the Red Onion, a Woodland Hills nightclub. She was in the process of discouraging a potential suitor. After my failed marriage, I was too gun-shy to instigate any contact myself. But when a stuntman and fellow martial artist named Rick Kahana introduced us, I found out she was not just another customer or someone out for a good time. She was the club's female bouncer. I must have made a good impression, for we became inseparable almost immediately, and within a month had moved in together. All went well until Yvonne's eyes became infected, and UCLA's Jules Stein Clinic diagnosed she was in danger of permanently losing her sight. Her passion lay in horses, and I bought her a saddlebred named Power Pack, and an Arabian colt named Sakorkokor, Arabic for Desert Wind. Although some of my more callous friends questioned whether I wanted to spend the rest of my life taking care of a blind woman, I truly loved Yvonne and was willing to do anything for her. Anything, that is, except to tell her my true occupation.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
I was wondering where that was going. Like, is he just telling us about the time he was in love? Because that's kind of sweet. Nope. It's the time I couldn't tell her she was blind, but I still couldn't tell her I was a spy. Doing his spy work in silence around the house, just like tiptoeing.
Those of you new to the show, Sean, for his intro, reads from a book by a man named Frank Dukes, D-U-X, called The Secret Man. And I feel like we would have sold a lot of copies of that book, but it's not in print. I think the cheapest one I saw on Amazon was $200. And I keep waiting for Sean to run out of spectacular excerpts from this book because I think, well, the whole thing can't be amazing, but he's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more to come. I don't like plan ahead. Before the show, I just flip through until I find a funny one. I think what'll probably happen is I'll probably read one I've already read, like that time when he killed the guy with the credit card or something.
How would we even know? There's no way we would ever know that.
But I just want to let everyone know, her eyes were infected. He didn't say with what, but next paragraph, they're fine. She did not go blind. He didn't have to worry about it.
She just got pink eye, and he was like, "My life as a spy is over. Have to get North Korea will be destroyed."
I mean,
my life as a traveling salesman. Jesus Christ, that was a close one. God, she was almost blind.
Oh, the Dukes cast. We got to do it. We got to do it someday.
Oh, we'll do it.
Midnight. Chandler Boulevard in North Hollywood. A woman wrestles with a man on the sidewalk as she cries out for help. Gary, who has just finished packing his red GT Mustang, rushes across the street to her aid. From the curbside, tires suddenly squeal in a stench of burned rubber. Even Gary is no match for the car that flings him into the air.
Fuck yes.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
Gary got roundhouse kicked by a car. My favorite thing that happens in kung fu movies, and also doesn't happen in reality. Like nobody drifts a car into a man and then it kicks him like it's a roundhouse.
You don't use car style kung fu? I love car style.
I would absolutely. If I was in the movie, I would be the guy bringing a car to a kung fu fight, like in Bangkok Knockout. That's my style. I'd love that. It's the least realistic part of any kung fu movie. And he's like, yeah, that happened to me. I'm a real spy.
My buddy Gary died that way.
Ripped a man's heart out with my bare hands. All right, this isn't a Frank Dukes podcast. It's not.
Should be. It could be.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be one of these days. We're slowly easing into it. We're testing the waters. We're seeing how sued we can get. 0 so far, which is astonishing.
I must confess that his reaction disappointed me. I suppose I expected more. Instead, he seemed friendly and somewhat focused, but ultimately distracted. Good work, Dukes, he congratulated me when I finished. I had to strain to hear him. I guess I'll have to call you Dragon Slayer. Dragon was his code reference to the Triad. However, I realized he was referring as well to the inner circle of spydom. The Dragon Slayer title was first coined during the Crimean War after the Russians released a British agent long believed to be dead. His capture had been credited to his willingness to expose himself in the pursuit of a murderous associate guilty of heinous war crimes. The mark had been seared into his flesh so that he could be easily identified if he ever dared to return to Russia. I couldn't help but feel pleased that Casey had bestowed upon me the coveted title that indicated respect and acknowledged accomplishment.
And I am award-winning author Jason Pargin.
So Frank Dukes has a brand? They branded Frank Dukes with
does.
the word Dragon Slayer?
Came back with some information, and they're like, that's pretty good. You know what, though? Why don't we give you the title of Ultimate Super Spy? Get your butt cheek out.
I'm glad that titles work like in Destiny. I always assumed that they did, but I'm glad the spies also, like, you have to have a certain accomplishment, and then they're like, yes, you have unlocked Dragon Slayer. Nobody will respect you when they see that. They'll be like, what's this loser doing? Spending like 8,000 hours doing this pretend spy work. The Dukes podcast, it always derails my brain.
I was a former world champion, a professional martial artist, only a few years past my prime, when I was considered by many the fastest human alive. World-renowned for my explosive speed, I could snatch a quarter out of an open palm and substitute a penny without the switch being noticed. When I was 19, the Chinese, my biggest fans, had nicknamed me Fa Ma after the flying horse that brings both peace and war, a tribute to the poise, endurance, and confidence I exuded in no-holds-barred illegal human cockfights, the martial arts legendary Kumite tournaments. Many years later, in 1987, my martial arts prowess would be the subject for the motion picture Bloodsport, and in April 1993, I became the first person on record to break bulletproof glass with a blow from my bare hand.
And I am award-winning author Jason Pargin.
I could talk about that passage you just read for like 3 episodes of a podcast.
I don't see why we shouldn't.
All right, first of all, if you call it a human cockfight, it changes meaning real drastically. Real drastically. And second of all, is it 24 cents profit every time you do it? Is like that how you is that how you make your money?
It makes his money.
Oh, God damn it, the Dukes cast. As the show we're here to talk about, this is a Mountain Monsters Watch Along podcast, devolves into less and less of a show, I'm so much more interested in the Dukes cast, even as I have so much fun watching this disaster, but the Dukes cast is just more together at this point. It's just a more coherent story, which I never thought I would say.
It could be put together with what we've got on tape already.
No.
With
Because
Jamie and 70, 80 hours of editing could put together those excerpts.
No, absolutely not, because Sean for the sake of this podcast, Sean reads something and then we talk about it for only like 12 minutes each time. It could be an hour. Every single time he says like a paragraph, like, all right, we need to talk about every part of that paragraph. We now need to deconstruct the phrasing. Like, seriously, human cockfighting though? Like, you're the flying horse of China? What?
War and peace.
You bring what? They don't love it when you bring the war.
In front of Fish's mobile home, spraying the gas right in the dog's snarling face gave me satisfaction. I've had some nasty experiences with canines, and besides, this dog belonged to Fish. It staggered about the yard, snorting foam from its nostrils, turned a few circles, then collapsed by the home's front steps. Breaking into the trailer was easy.
And I am award-winning author Jason Pargin.
Did he kill a dog with a death touch?
I think he killed the dog with like a gas hose. He's I don't know. He used chemical weapons on a dog, and the dog was not introduced in a previous paragraph. We come in on him killing a dog with chemical weapons.
That's like a real common thread in your obscure nemesis, is they all murder dogs and they think that rules.
A heavy object slammed against sheet metal, telling me I had been lucky and had knocked Fish's gun from his hand. I made a single leap to reach him before he could pull a knife or other weapon, and we collided. He went down. I could smell Fish's sweat. It wasn't a clean, honest sweat, like the way my father smelled when he carried doors all day. The sweat was rotten. It was the putrid sweat caused by decay and a cavity in the soul. It was the sweat of corruption.
And I am author and social media influencer Jason Pargin. So, again, listeners, if you don't know, Sean is reading from an amazing book every time he does his intro called The Secret Man by a man named Frank Dukes, D-U-X. And if you want to read the book, too bad. It has been out of print for years. They cost thousands of dollars and also worth it.
Absolutely.
Every line he reads out of that book is spectacular. I can't believe that went out of print.
He uses his ninja senses to discern the morality of sweat. Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
If Frank Dukes wrestles you, once you start sweating, he can tell how evil you are by your scent.
Yeah. That seems like that should have been the concept for one of those 80s cartoons, that just like ill-advised 80s cartoon. He can smell, he has to get you sweaty for some reason to smell whether you're good or evil.
I guess I should point out, listeners, that's a non-fiction book he's reading.
Yes, it is according to him.
True story.
That is a guy's autobiography. Frank Dukes, the man who wrote the movie Bloodsport or claimed that it was based on his real-life adventures.
I love that he has a
karate man.
Blofeld, too. He's just got the fish is in every one. There's one guy that he's just...
One chapter is called
evil.
Fish Again.
Fish again. Fucking fish.
Jesus.
Think you'd learn.
Please, he pleaded. You have what you want. Spare me. Not quite, I whispered in his ear. Now you're going to know what those girls felt like. He began to sob hysterically as I pushed him out of the car and gave him a kick that sent him hurtling toward the youths. The adrenaline pumping through their veins had whipped them into a violent frenzy that had not yet been satisfied, and they welcomed a new victim upon whom to expend their fury.
And I am award-winning author Jason Pargin. If you ever did a podcast about that book that Sean reads at the start of each of these episodes, it would just be reading that book. What could you add? What could you add that would make it better?
I'm on the opposite perspective. I would love to talk about every sentence he says for at least an hour. Like, what is the implication there? Well, you kicked a man into a group of children? And
Just
you
a mob of
hoped
swarming violent children. They tore him apart. I stopped reading, but yeah, he dies.
Yeah, my hope is that at least that what they did was tear him apart, because he seems to imply like he's setting it up for something else.
He used children as a murder weapon and then wrote it down in a nonfiction book. If you're any DAs listening, Frank Dukes killed a man with children.
Once you do the Frank Dukes podcast, one episode should be inviting an attorney on to just list how many crimes are confessed to
Yeah,
in that
prosecutable.
Because there's
No
multiple,
statute of limitations.
There's multiple in every sentence of that book. He just casually mentions, yeah.
Bon voyage, sucker. I immediately went to work. First, I obtained a certified copy of a birth certificate through the Hall of Records in the name of Williams, of course. That took me the better part of the morning, which left the afternoon in which to show up at the Department of Motor Vehicles to get a temporary license as Mr. Williams. At home, I created a laminated college picture ID just for insurance. And so, before I even had time to get used to the idea, I was off to meet Ames in Washington, wondering what in the hell I'd gotten myself into. It was the same thought I'd had when I'd lost my virginity. Now I'd reached a similar turning point. The beginning of another loss of innocence.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin.
You guys ever notice this? You notice how being allowed DMV is like losing your virginity? You guys ever notice this?
When Frank Dukes gets a fake idea, it's like fucking.
I fuck like I get a fake ID. Laminating?
You guys don't laminate when you make love?
I mean, I guess depending on how gross you want to define that as. I guess.
Jamie, we can cut all this. The Frank Dukes got out of hand this time,
This
Jamie.
is the wrong foot to get off on.
Let me find
for
one
this
where he kills a guy
podcast.
with a credit card or something.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Okay. To all those willing and unwilling tools of the Shadow Wars, I dedicate this podcast.
And I'm Sean, baby. That any way to talk to a guy who offers to buy you a beer? Shit. The only reason young white guys come over here is for dope. I could tell he had something heavy down the front of his pants by the way he moved. Got a load in your pants, I asked? Lot bigger than the one you're carrying, pencil dick white motherfucker. They had picked the wrong guy for those types of comments. I could have told them that I knew all about racism. I had generations of it stored up in my blood. My parents had been victims, their families imprisoned, tortured, and executed because of their race and nothing more. Give me your coat, the young guy demanded. His companion still hadn't said a word. Maybe he didn't know how to talk. I said, give me the coat, motherfucker. He struggled a moment before pulling a pistol from under his jacket and belt. Come on, I'm getting cold waiting. They thought I was unarmed and mistook my relaxed posture for being off guard. I slowly removed the coat and held it out toward the guy with the gun. He stepped forward, reaching out to grab it. Mistake! The coat dropped from my fingers. I grabbed his wrist before his mouth could drop open in surprise. His arm snapped with that sickening sound a pool stick makes when you snap it over your knee.
Before I say my name, I want it known that none of those words are Sean's own words. He's reading from an obscure out-of-print book called The Secret Man by Frank Dukes, D-U-X. Now, you cannot verify that he did not just make up that entire quote because that book is totally unavailable for any amount of money. And with that said, and me being unaware that he was going to read that passage, my name is Jason Pargin. I am a New York Times bestselling author. There's no way that book's real. There's no way the listeners think that's a real book. They have to think you're writing those every couple of weeks just as a bit. Like, wow, Look at this funny book I found. You'll never find it. I swear all of this is the words of this other man who would have sued you into oblivion, by the way, if those were not his words. But no, Frank Dukes proudly stands by every word of that.
I think if he was to sue me over reading his book, I think the discovery might reveal that he has confessed to about 211 murders in this book.
Some truly vile racism in there. Although he then spun it to be I am the racism.
Yeah,
it's the Walter White speech, but it's like, I am the racism.
Don't try racism on me. I am the racism.
To be clear, sir, I will transcribe everything you said in dialect with the exact slang you used. You cannot accuse me of racism when I represent this conversation we had. I have a photographic memory.
See, this is why when we talk about this book and we're like, Jason sometimes says, what would we possibly add to that? How could we talk about that? I could talk about that passage for easily 2 hours. There's a lot going on in that passage.
Because the self-awareness.
Starting with the dick stuff.
Yes. It was like real, like changing of gears to be like, no, we're gonna fight, not fuck. But also like to be self-aware enough to know, like, I should throw in a paragraph here to let everyone know I have a little rhetorical authority when it comes time to talk about racism.
Comes to racism.
Because I realize all of this would be unforgivable otherwise, but I have a pass for everything I'm about to say here.
Yeah.
And now that I have, if you're listening, you couldn't see on the video, my intro was from The Secret Man as well.
How much
Robert,
did that
what
book
did
cost?
you pay?
This is true. This book arrived today with no return address and nobody taking credit for it. It just showed up on my doorstep. And until somebody does, thank you, first of all, whoever sent this to me, until somebody does take credit for it, I am going to assume it was Frank Dukes.
Robert, there's a curtain behind you. Very slowly, without turning around, I want you to use your camera to see if at the bottom of the curtain there's a pair of feet perfectly blending with your wall.
How would I ever tell that, Jason? How would I ever know? There would be no way.
It wouldn't matter. You're already dead. All we could do is watch your head fall off your body.
I think you would find him like perfectly face painted to be Jackie Chan in the poster of Jackie Chan that's behind me, and then it would just come off the wall and come alive, and you'd be like, my last words would be like, "You cannot do that, Frank Dukes. That is not permissible."
He's painted the back of his head to be Jackie Chan so that he can turn around and be Frank Dukes.
And he would kill you while screaming into the camera, "I'm allowed to do this. My parents were discriminated against."
He gave me the Chan pass. I know him. He was in the Kumite with me.
Well, Brockway, that was page 87 if you want to see if I was pronouncing motherfucker right. There's a hyphen and it ends with an A. So he does code switch while he's typing.
Code switches in the prose. As all true writers do.
Because Jason thinks I'm making it up. If Brockway read exactly what I just said, would you believe that the book is true?
Why would that mean that? It just means you sent me. It just means you sent me the passage.
It just meant I made a second one.
Got a load in your pants, I asked. A lot bigger than the one you're carrying. That's all I wanted to read.
I wouldn't
just
mind hearing
wanted
the
to
whole thing
revisit
again.
that. Mother dash fucker. Yeah, there it is. He's got the head waggle and everything.
Yeah, in brackets.
Even if you had that conversation with someone, if you then went and told a third party about this encounter and you did the voice, even if you were doing it accurately, I don't think you're allowed to do the voice. You know what I'm saying? But like, even if it was perfect, like dead on, just the moment you start doing the voice, I think you're in the wrong. Even if you're doing it, even if it's correct.
Yeah, you're telling a very
agree with
different
you.
story. Yeah.
This is a struggle I'm very familiar with. I agree with you.
Further aspects of behavior explored in order later to be exploited included a woman's need for a sense of security, a challenge, or her particular rebellious tendencies. More importantly, I was educated on how to bridge those unspoken communication gaps separating nuances of behavior and intimacy. For example, one method for stimulating a sense of intimacy is merely how to find the right varying touch, since consistent pressure communicates a mechanical effort to please. I was taught to arouse a woman's feet, hands, or ears by light kissing, blowing, licking, or gentle biting. Helpful tips included caressing a woman's entire body with a soft sable brush, commonly used to apply face powder. I was encouraged to be spontaneous, to lick strawberry jam off my lover's toes in the dark corner booth of a bistro.
And I am New York Times best-selling author Jason Pargin.
Wonderful. First of all, he brushes her all over like a horse.
Like with their makeup brush. Yeah.
Brushes her down like a horse.
They taught him that in spy school.
With her makeup brush, does she know that that's her brush that he's using to brush her entire body, head to toe? Does she know that he
Feel like that's
borrowed
better.
her?
That's better than pulling out a strange makeup brush.
Yeah, or does he have a sex brush?
You might have a
Designated sex brush.
Yeah.
God, the questions I'm telling you, talk about that book for the rest of my life.
It's my mom's brush. Don't worry about it. It's clean.
This brush that I'm using to tickle your labia. Do you know where I got it? No good answer to that. It doesn't matter where it came from.
The labia brush store. All still bad.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's brand new. I bought it on my way here just for this. Yeah, that's also bad.
Don't worry, I was trained to do this by the government.
He's like, look, I just work here, man, but you can't suck strawberry jam off people's feet in here, man.
It's like every time there's that long panning shot where Bond is walking through the busy MI offices, there's just, you got to pay attention because somewhere in the background there's a Frank Duke sucking jam off of feet, like just at one of those desks. Q's just like, no, don't. All he asks for are brushes, like high-tech brushes. Let's not get into that.
These cufflinks turn into strawberry jam. He couldn't have killed the baby. I took a deep breath, then made a mad zigzag toward the baby. A black form leaped out of the darkness and shouted, "Bang, y'all dead." Before I recovered, Fish disappeared. I drew my knife from its sheath in my python skin boot, custom made during a stint in Southeast Asia, but again stopped short. A tripwire? Perhaps he'd hidden a claymore or a mini plator mine, both easily concealed. Flashing lights got me moving again. If the local police found me, Fish would certainly get away. And how long before I found him again? I let Fish go. With a slash of my knife, I cut the cord hanging the baby and caught it as it fell. The baby was a doll. Sucker! Should have been tattooed across my forehead. A moment to regain my composure. Then I sped off. I heard the police helicopter long before its spotlight lit up the area, and I had time to crawl into a drainage pipe. But I wasn't alone. Ants!
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin. The book that Sean reads as part of his intros for this podcast is called The Secret Man by Frank Dukes, D-U-X. You cannot purchase it anywhere.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I thought this was very rude. I was telling you a meaningful story about this ring that my wife bought for me.
Yeah.
You can see it there.
I was just too excited about the ants. Like I am now. Like I'm interrupting you now.
Did I even tell you guys this story about the very meaningful story to me
Of
about
course,
how
you've talked about the ring you always have on when you do the podcast. It comes
always
up
talk about the
constantly.
ring.
What
Yes.
do you...
Well, for those of you at home, the story goes like this. She bought it for me online.
So moving.
Ants! What a great way to just end
I hope
end
that
it.
was the ending of that book. The final word in the book is just
Ants!
Ants. He only got to the end. And the,
Old-timey news voice coming on. Stay tuned for next time.
no. That's it. That's
Ants!
found out I was not alone. Ants.
And that's how he died. Rest in peace, Frank Dukes. Defeated by ants, like the witch foresaw.
and they're not ants like in that episode of MacGyver where they like kill a village. He's just a little itchy.
They're not like fire ants.
No, they're not like bullet ants or
bullet ants or something. Like literally the most painful thing a man can experience, and I had to sit there in silence lest I be killed.
No,
Yeah, just ants.
just ants.
Sugar ants. They were after my cookies, and I did not want to give up my cookies.
My date let out a disappointed sigh. She shot me a tough look, gave me attitude, a pout. Another typically calculated ploy to encourage me to talk and provide her with a thrill. I chuckled to myself. How would this beautiful, polished woman with her white Mercedes and her toy Doberman napping at my feet fare in the Schiller Grill on Munich's Schiller Strauss? At the time, the early 1980s, an underworld meeting spot for information and recruitment of talent. It was, depending on the hour, lined with pimps and prostitutes, ex-legionnaires and soldiers of fortune, cat burglars, bank robbers, or mafia chieftains and their lieutenants. Push your way into that crowded dive after 10 at night, and you're taking your life in your hands. Proper introductions are required. I recall one incident in which one poor sap bodybuilder was asked to leave underworld fashion. He was pistol-whipped to the floor by a man half his size. On their way out, several customers stopped to urinate in farewell on the unconscious man. I suppose they, too, wanted to leave their mark.
And I am New York Times bestselling author Jason Pargin. I don't know if you realize this, Sean, but sometimes I will stop here and explain to the listeners that those are not your words, that you're reading from a book called The Secret Man by Frank Dukes. I'm judging that based on, would it be a problem if the listener thought this was something Sean just said? Like, if this is their first episode and they don't understand, like, do I need to make it clear that this was not Sean telling an anecdote from his own life?
Not this time.
No, that's pretty universal.
Yeah. I watch a lot of men get peed on. Not just in real life, but for this podcast.
It's a whole thing. It's a Portland thing. We're both from Portland. You wouldn't get it. The highest per capita bodybuilder piss bars of any city in America. We're kind of proud of it.
Too many muscles and too much piss. That's what they say about our beautiful town.
I realize that the cover of the book is actually not in frame on the YouTube video because it's way over my head. It's the exact same, the paperback. It's the exact same as with the exact same as the hardcover. It's white. It's got a woman sitting on a box. It's a very funny cover, as you hear from their reaction, the people listening on the.
How much did that cost?
The cover, I don't know what the artist charges. It's quite a bit because they have a professional that.
We own collectively on this podcast every existing copy of The Secret Man.
Amazing.
There's some poor bookseller that invested in a crate of these when they first came out and is just like watching his Amazon cart avidly. Like, I can't believe it's finally kicking off. They're finally starting to appreciate it.
I 100% believe we have listeners who have sought out and bought I think we have sold more copies of Frank Dukes' book than any of the books we have written.
Probably, yes. And at like $50 a pop.
We do a better job of selling it, to be frank. The fact that you can grab any random, to be frank, that wasn't on purpose what I just said there. That wasn't a pun. But the fact that you can grab any random page and it's the most amazing thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's a great book.
You can't do that with our books.
Later, after discovering it, another drill instructor made a point of my Jewishness. Through unwarranted punishments of sit-ups and push-ups, squats, and bends, the platoon was incited to detest my presence. Overnight, my stature diminished from platoon guide, the recruit's platoon leader who carries the flag and sets the cadence for marching, to a can't-do-nothing-right scapegoat. I took the abuse because I knew the temporary nature of my presence and the importance of maintaining my cover. Little by little, though, the abuse wore through. One Sunday, I refused to bow my head in prayer during the Christian religious service I was forced to attend, an action resulting in a blanket party. I woke with a blanket covering my head and fists beating my face and body from behind the anonymity of cover. When I lashed out, as much from instinct as anything, several recruits were injured.
And I am award-winning author Jason Pargin. Is Frank Dukes Jewish?
He is. He brings it up every opportunity. Any mention of racism.
Did that come up in the movie?
Nope.
Because if you had asked me, if you had held up Bloodsport as an example of a movie about the Jewish experience, I would have probably have not understood what you were talking about.
You have to watch it in the original Yiddish, and then it makes more sense.
Yeah. Did you not? I assume Jean-Claude Van Damme is Jewish.
Sure.
Well, he wouldn't be allowed to play that role otherwise. We're getting off subject. That is probably not the thing that should have stood out about that, what you just read there, which for confused listeners, Sean is reading excerpts from an incredible book that is not in print called The Secret Man by Frank Dukes, D-U-X.
Even with a bag over his head, he is a deadly fighter.
Those recruits were so lucky that his fists were confined by blanket. Otherwise, they would have just been destroyed. They would have been blown apart by the force of his blows.